I am sitting in my empty apartment right now, staring at the walls that used to hold pictures of us. It has been 1 week since everything fell apart. 1 week since the woman I was going to marry destroyed my entire life with a single lie. I never thought the person I trusted most would betray me like this. We had already put down a deposit on our wedding venue. I had picked out my groomsmen. My mom had bought her dress. Everything seemed perfect. Then I found out she was pregnant with her ex-boyfriend's baby and planned to trap me into raising it. But that was not even the worst part. The worst part was not her betrayal. It was my own father's fist in my face. Before I tell you how my life fell apart in 48 hours, I want to know where you are watching from. Drop your location in the comments below. If you have ever felt betrayed by the people you trusted most, hit that like button. And subscribe because this story gets darker before it gets better. Seriously, what I am about to tell you will show you just how twisted someone can be when they are desperate. Now, let me take you back to 3 months ago, when everything still seemed perfect. My name is Dusty. I am 28 years old, and I work as a civil engineer for a construction company here in Denver, Colorado. I have always been the kind of guy who keeps his head down, works hard, and treats people right. My job involves managing construction sites, making sure projects stay on schedule and within budget. It is steady work, good pay, and I have always been proud of what I do. I met Amanda 3 years ago at a coffee shop downtown, where she worked as the manager. She had this bright smile that just lit up the whole room. We started talking one morning when she got my order wrong and insisted on making it right. That casual conversation turned into exchanged numbers, then dates, and eventually she became my whole world. Our relationship felt natural from the start. No games, no drama, just two people who genuinely enjoyed being around each other. We moved in together, after a year, splitting rent on a 2-bedroom apartment in Capitol Hill. Our life together was simple, but good. We cooked dinner together on weekends, binged shows on Netflix, and talked about our future like it was a sure thing. Amanda was fun, energetic, and had this whole circle of friends she was always hanging out with. My family absolutely adored her. My mom, Linda, would call Amanda directly sometimes just to chat. My dad, Frank, said she was the best thing that ever happened to me. Even my younger sister, Sarah, thought Amanda was amazing. 6 months ago, I proposed to her at Red Rocks during a sunset. She cried, said yes, and we immediately started planning our wedding for the following spring. We booked a venue in the mountains, chose a photographer, and sent out save-the-date cards to everyone we knew. I remember looking at her during one of our planning sessions and thinking I was the luckiest man alive. I trusted her completely. I never once questioned her loyalty or her love for me. That trust, looking back now, was the biggest mistake I ever made. About 2 months before our wedding date, things started changing. Little things at first. Amanda started coming home later than usual. She would say she was busy at work or meeting up with friends. I did not think much of it because she had always been social. But then, I noticed her phone habits changed. She used to leave her phone lying around face up, no big deal. Suddenly it was always face down on the table. She started taking it with her everywhere, even to the bathroom. When I asked her about it casually, she got defensive. She would snap at me with this sharp tone I had never heard before. "Why don't you trust me, Dusty? Do you think I am doing something wrong?" Her reaction made me feel guilty for even asking, so I backed off. Then one night she came home at 11 p.m. Her makeup was smudged, and I could smell alcohol on her breath. She said they had a team celebration at work because her manager got promoted. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? We were getting married in 2 months. I thought we were solid. But this uneasy feeling started growing in my gut. Something felt off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. She had also changed her phone passcode. We used to know each other's passwords. It was never a trust issue, just convenient. When one of our phones died, or we needed to check something. But now when I casually asked for her new code to check the weather app while my phone was charging, she hesitated. She looked at me with this guarded expression and said, "I just want some privacy, Dusty." Is that too much to ask? I felt like I was being unreasonable, so I dropped it. But that gnawing feeling in my chest wouldn't go away. A few days later, I decided we needed to talk. It was a Friday night. We had just finished dinner, some pasta dish I threw together, and we were sitting on the couch. I turned to her and said, "Amanda, is everything okay? You seem distant lately." She wouldn't look at me. She just stared at the TV and said she was stressed about work. Then she added that her parents were having issues, and it was weighing on her. I felt terrible. Here I was questioning her when she was going through a rough time. I put my arm around her and told her I was there for her, that we would get through whatever it was together. She leaned into me and started crying. She said, "I am sorry, Dusty. I have just been overwhelmed with everything." I held her and told her it was okay. In that moment, I felt reassured. I thought maybe I had been overthinking everything. But deep down, something still felt wrong. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But my gut was screaming, something I was not ready to hear. 1 week after that conversation, everything changed. It was a Wednesday afternoon. I had left work early because the job site got shut down due to a massive rainstorm. We had a rain delay, so my supervisor told us to head home. I got back to the apartment around 1 p.m., which was way earlier than usual. As I walked through the front door, I could hear Amanda's voice coming from the bedroom. She was on the phone, and her tone was hushed, almost like she was trying not to be heard. I stood in the hallway not because I was trying to eavesdrop, but because something about her voice made me freeze. Then I heard her say, "I cannot keep doing this. Travis. He is going to find out." Travis. That name hit me like a truck. Travis was her ex-boyfriend from 4 years ago. She had told me about him when we first started dating. They had been together for 2 years before she ended it, because he was immature and unreliable. She said she hadn't spoken to him in years. So why was she on the phone with him now? And why was she saying, "I was going to find out about something"? My heart was pounding in my chest. I pushed the bedroom door open. Amanda spun around, her eyes wide with shock. She immediately ended the call and shoved her phone into her pocket. "Who was that?" I asked, keeping my voice as calm as possible. She said, "Nobody. Just a friend." I shook my head. "Don't lie to me, Amanda. I heard you say Travis." Her face went pale. She stammered something about how it was not what I thought, that Travis had just called her out of the blue asking for advice about something. But I was not buying it. I told her to show me her phone. She refused. We stood there in that bedroom for 30 minutes, going back and forth. She kept insisting it was innocent, that I was overreacting. But I was not backing down. Finally, she threw her phone at me and said, "Fine. Look, you will see there is nothing going on." I caught the phone and opened her messages. What I saw next made my blood run cold. There were dozens of texts between her and Travis, going back 2 months. 2 months. The entire time she had been acting distant, she had been talking to him. And these were not innocent conversations. They were intimate, flirty. There were messages about meeting up secretly. There were messages about how much they missed each other. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through. Then I found a message from 3 weeks ago. Amanda had texted him saying she was late and scared she might be pregnant. Travis had responded asking if it was his. She said she didn't know yet, but that she was going to take a test. I kept scrolling, my chest tightening with every word I read. Then I found the most recent messages from 2 days ago. Amanda had sent Travis a picture of a positive pregnancy test. The message said, "It is positive. I do not know what to do." Travis had replied, "Are you going to tell Dusty?" Her response made me feel sick. She had written, "Not yet. I need to figure this out." Maybe we can make him think it is his. I read that line 3 times trying to process what I was seeing. She was planning to trick me into thinking her baby was mine. But it got worse. I kept reading. Travis asked what would happen if I found out the truth. Amanda's response was cold and calculated. She said, "If he finds out, I will just claim he was abusive. I can sue him for child support. Even if the DNA test proves it is not his, I can drag it out in court and make his life hell." I stood there in shock, staring at her phone. This woman, the person I was supposed to marry, had been planning to manipulate me, lie to me, and possibly destroy my life just to cover up her affair. I looked up at her. She was sitting on the edge of the bed crying. But I could tell she was not crying because she was sorry. She was crying because she got caught. I said, "You are pregnant with his baby, and you were going to trap me." She tried to explain. She said Travis had reached out to her 2 months ago, that she thought she was over him, but old feelings came back. She said it was a mistake, and that she still loved me. I just stared at her, feeling absolutely nothing. I told her to pack her things and get out. She had 2 hours. Amanda's whole demeanor changed. She started begging. She grabbed my arm and said we could work it out, that we had built so much together. I pulled away from her and repeated myself, "Pack your things and get out." When she realized begging was not working, she switched tactics. Her tears stopped and her voice turned cold. She said, "If you kick me out, I will make your life hell, Dusty. I will tell everyone you abused me. I will ruin you." I held up her phone, which I had already taken screenshots of on my own device. I said, "Try it. I have proof of everything you have been planning. Go ahead and lie. See how far you get." She stared at me, realizing her threats were not going to work. 2 hours later, she walked out of that apartment with 2 suitcases. I watched her leave, and I felt like I was watching a stranger. The woman I thought I knew was gone. But as it turned out, the nightmare was just beginning. That same night, Amanda called my mom. I didn't know about it until later, but she had spun an entirely different version of events. She told my mom that I had been cheating on her, that when she confronted me about it, I kicked her out of the apartment. She was sobbing on the phone, playing the victim perfectly. Then, she dropped the bomb. She told my mom she was pregnant with my baby, and that I didn't want anything to do with it. She said I told her I never really loved her, and that I had just been using her. My mom was devastated. She called me immediately, and I could hear the anger and disappointment in her voice. She said, "How could you do this to Amanda, Dusty? She is carrying your child. How could you just throw her out like that?" I tried to explain what had actually happened. I told her Amanda had been cheating on me with her ex, that the baby was not mine, and that she had been planning to manipulate me. But my mom was not hearing it. She had already made up her mind. She said Amanda was crying on the phone, "Dusty. She is heartbroken. Why would she lie about something like this?" I kept trying to tell her the truth, to explain about the text messages, but she cut me off. She said, "You are making excuses. I raised you better than this." Then she hung up on me. I sat there, holding my phone, feeling completely helpless. My own mother did not believe me. Within 2 days, my entire family had heard Amanda's version of the story. My dad, Frank, called me. His voice was ice cold. He said, "You are no son of mine, Dusty." Then he hung up. My sister Sarah sent me a text message that said, "I cannot believe you abandoned a pregnant woman. You are disgusting. I don't even know who you are anymore." I tried to send them all screenshots of the text messages between Amanda and Travis. I forwarded the entire conversation, showing her plan to trick me, her admission that the baby was not mine, and her threat to falsely accuse me of abuse. But nobody opened the messages. They had all blocked my number. I even got an email from the wedding venue a few days later. My parents had called and canceled everything. They had requested the deposit be refunded to their account instead of mine. I realized at that moment that my family had completely cut me off. They believed Amanda over me, without even giving me a chance to defend myself. The only person who stood by me was my college buddy, Jake. He came over the night my dad called and I told him everything. He looked at the screenshots and said, "Dude, this is insane. Your family needs to see this. They need to know the truth." I told him I had already tried, but they would not listen. Amanda had played them perfectly. She knew exactly what to say, how to cry, and how to make herself look like the victim. Jake stayed with me that night because he didn't want me to be alone. I appreciated it, but I still felt completely isolated. The people who were supposed to have my back had turned on me without a second thought. 3 days after I kicked Amanda out, I was at the grocery store. It was a Saturday morning, and I was just trying to get through my normal routine. I was loading groceries into my truck in the parking lot when I saw my dad's car pull in. My heart sank. He got out along with my Uncle Mike, my dad's younger brother. They walked straight toward me, and I could see the anger on my dad's face from across the lot. I stood there, not sure what to do. My dad got right up in my face and said, "You think you can just walk away from your responsibilities?" I said, "Dad, please. Just look at the evidence. I have proof that she cheated. The baby is not mine." He did not want to hear it. He pushed me hard and I stumbled back against my truck. He yelled, "You got her pregnant," and threw her out like she was trash. I tried to stay calm. I said, "The baby is not mine. She cheated on me with Travis. I have the messages. Please just look at them." But my dad was not listening. He was furious. He pulled his fist back and punched me square in the face. I went down hard, hitting the pavement. End of you. My Uncle Mike joined in and kicked me in the ribs while I was on the ground. People in the parking lot were screaming. Someone yelled that they were calling the police. I could have fought back. I could have defended myself. But these were my family. I couldn't bring myself to hit my own father. I just covered my head and took it. The police showed up within minutes. They pulled my dad and uncle off me and arrested both of them for assault. The officers asked me if I wanted to press charges. I refused. I said, "They are family. They just do not know the truth yet." The paramedics checked me out right there in the parking lot. My nose was broken. I had bruised ribs. There was a deep cut above my eyebrow that needed stitches. I sat in that ambulance bleeding and in pain, and I realized I had lost everything. My fiancée had betrayed me. My family had disowned me. I had been physically attacked by my own father. But sitting there, something shifted inside me. I was not going to let Amanda win. I was not going to let her lies destroy me. I decided right then and there that I was going to fight back, not with my fists, but with the truth. After I got discharged from the hospital, I went home and sat down at my computer. I was done being passive. I was done waiting for people to believe me. If my family was not going to listen to my words, then I would make them listen to the evidence. I spent the next few hours putting together a comprehensive file. I took screenshots of every single text message between Amanda and Travis. I documented the entire timeline, showing exactly when their affair started and when she found out she was pregnant. I even pulled up our intimate history and cross-referenced it with the pregnancy timeline. The dates made it medically impossible for the baby to be mine. I compiled everything into a single PDF file and wrote a cover letter explaining the situation. I reached out to my lawyer friend Marcus. He looked over everything and said, "Dusty, this is airtight. If she tries to come after you legally, you have everything you need to protect yourself." But he also warned me that sometimes the truth is not enough to change people's minds, especially when emotions are involved. I thanked him for his help and then made a decision. I created a new email address and sent the PDF file to everyone in my family. My mom, my dad, my sister, my aunts, my uncles, everyone. The subject line read, "The truth about Amanda. Please read before you judge me." In the body of the email I wrote, "I love you all. I would never lie to you. Please, just look at the evidence. I am not asking you to take my word for it. I am asking you to look at her words." I hit send and then waited. For 2 days, I heard nothing. No calls, no texts, no emails. I started to think that maybe they had ignored it, that they were too set in their beliefs to even consider my side. But then on the 3rd day, my phone rang. It was my mom. I answered, and the first thing I heard was her crying. She said, "Dusty, I am so sorry. I opened your email. I saw everything." I could hear the pain in her voice. She told me she had confronted Amanda after reading the messages. At first, Amanda tried to deny it, tried to say the screenshots were fake. But my mom pressed her. She asked Amanda specific questions about the texts about Travis, about the pregnancy timeline. Eventually, Amanda broke down and confessed to everything. She admitted the baby was Travis's. She admitted she had been planning to trick me into thinking it was mine. She even admitted that her backup plan was to sue me for child support and drag my name through the mud if I ever found out the truth. My mom was devastated. She kept saying, "I should have trusted you. I should have listened to my own son. I am so ashamed." I told her it was okay that she did not know. But honestly, it still hurt. The fact that she had believed Amanda so easily, without even giving me a chance to explain, cut deep. But I also understood. Amanda had played her role perfectly. She knew how to manipulate people's emotions. A few hours later, my sister Sarah called. She was crying too. She apologized over and over, saying she felt terrible for the things she had said to me. She told me she had always looked up to me, and that she was horrified she had doubted me. I forgave her. What else could I do? She was my little sister. The hardest call came that evening. There was a knock on my door, and when I opened it, my dad was standing there. His eyes were red and swollen like he had been crying for hours. He looked at me and said, "Son, I put my hands on you. There is no excuse for what I did." I stepped aside and let him in. We sat down in my living room, and for a long time, neither of us said anything. Finally, he spoke. He said, "You have always been honest, Dusty. Even when you were a kid, you never lied to me. I should have known you wouldn't lie about something this serious. I should have trusted you. I should have listened. I am your father, and I failed you." He broke down crying, and I had never seen my dad cry before in my life. We hugged and I forgave him, because at the end of the day he was still my dad, and I knew he had been manipulated just like everyone else. He told me he had brought something with him. He pulled out a small photo album filled with pictures of me growing up. Pictures of us fishing, playing catch, working on cars together. He said, "I looked through these last night and realized I almost lost my son over a lie. I am never going to let that happen again." It was one of the most emotional moments of my life. My dad and I had always been close, but this experience brought us even closer. He promised me he would spend the rest of his life making it up to me. I told him he didn't need to, that I just wanted my family back. And in that moment, I felt like I finally had them. Amanda tried to reach out to me about a week later. She sent me a text message that said, "Can we talk? I made a terrible mistake." I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. Marcus, my lawyer, informed me that Amanda had quietly dropped any plans to pursue legal action against me. She knew she had no case. Apparently, Travis had also kicked her out when he found out about her manipulation. He wanted nothing to do with her or the baby. I heard through a mutual friend that Amanda had moved back in with her parents in another state. She had tried to get an abortion, but it was too late in the pregnancy, so she decided to keep the baby. My family completely cut all contact with her. The wedding venue, the caterer, all the vendors we had booked were informed about what happened, and my family helped me recover the deposits we had put down. Sarah mentioned to me a few weeks later that some of Amanda's friends had reached out to apologize. Apparently, they had no idea what she had done. They said they were horrified when they found out the truth. It was a strange feeling knowing that even people in her own circle were disgusted by her actions. But I didn't take any satisfaction in it. I just wanted to move on. 2 months after everything happened, I started going to therapy. I needed help processing the trauma of betrayal, not just from Amanda, but from my own family, turning on me. My therapist helped me work through the trust issues I was dealing with. I started spending more time with my family, rebuilding the trust that had been broken. My mom started cooking Sunday dinners for me again, just like she used to when I was growing up. My dad and I started going on fishing trips together. Those quiet moments on the water, just the two of us, helped heal something that had been broken between us. Jake, my best friend, helped me move into a new apartment. I needed a fresh start, a place that didn't have memories of Amanda in every corner. I threw myself into my work and ended up getting promoted to senior engineer at my company. It felt good to have something positive happen after months of chaos. I started working out regularly, taking better care of myself physically and mentally. My relationship with my family became stronger than it had ever been. We had gone through fire together, and we came out the other side closer. My mom told me one day that she believed everything happened for a reason, that maybe this was a test to show us what really mattered. I wasn't sure I believed in that kind of thinking, but I appreciated the sentiment. 6 months have passed since that nightmare, and I am not going to lie and say I am completely over it. I still have trust issues. It is hard for me to let people in, especially when it comes to romantic relationships. I find myself second-guessing people's intentions, looking for red flags even when there probably are not any. But I have also learned some valuable lessons through all of this. I learned to trust my gut. When something feels wrong, it usually is. I learned that real family will admit when they are wrong and fight to make things right. I learned that the truth always comes out eventually. You do not have to force it. You just have to stand firm and wait. As for Amanda, I do not hate her. Honestly, I pity her. She destroyed everything she had for a man who didn't even want her in the end. She lost her fiancé, her friends, the respect of people who cared about her, all because she couldn't be honest. I hope she learns from this and becomes a better person, especially now that she is going to be a mother. But that is not my concern anymore. My dad's punch hurt like hell, but his apology healed something much deeper. It showed me that love is not just about being there for the good times. It is about accountability, about owning your mistakes, and doing everything you can to make them right. I am stronger now because of what I went through. I am more careful about who I trust, but I am not closed off. I actually started dating again a few months ago. I met someone named Kelly at a work event. We are taking things slow, just friends for now, but there is potential there. I am not rushing into anything. I have learned that you cannot force connections. They either happen naturally or they do not. I have learned that betrayal does not define you. How you respond to it does. I could have let Amanda's lies destroy me. I could have given up when my family turned their backs. But I chose to stand in my truth and fight for it. And in the end, that made all the difference. To anyone watching this who has been betrayed, lied about, or had their family turn on them, here is my advice. Stand in your truth. Document everything. Keep records, take screenshots, save emails. Protect yourself, and give people the chance to see their mistakes. Some people will come around when they see the evidence. Others won't. But the right people will come back, and the wrong ones will expose themselves. My family came back. They admitted they were wrong. They have spent every day since then trying to make it right. That is what real love looks like. It is messy, it is painful, but it is also redemptive. Thanks for listening to my story. I want to hear from you now. Have you ever been in a situation where someone you loved betrayed you? Have you ever had your own family turn against you because of a lie? Drop a comment below and share your experience. Hit that like button if this story resonated with you. Subscribe to this channel, because I will be sharing more real-life stories like this one. And share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who might be going through something similar and needs to know they are not alone. Remember, you are stronger than you think. The truth might take time, but it always wins in the end. Take care of yourselves out there, and never let anyone dim your light.